Hello and welcome back to Podium Pop. My name is Celine, here with my co-host Gracie. We are a motorsport podcast. We talk about Formula One and IndyCar. If you don't already, please make sure you go subscribe to us on TikTok and on Instagram. We post a lot on there, as well as kind of keep you all updated on when we post episodes. We do post every Monday, but we sometimes do have some bonus episodes. Today, we are going to be doing a recap of Spa. Very exciting. It is the last one before summer break, so it's going to suck the next couple of weeks. But definitely stick with us for this episode to hear our thoughts, our predictions for summer break, and just a general news update. Let's go ahead and pop the bottle and get right into it.
Oh, that was a good one.
That was a good one.
That was a great one.
Okay, perfect. So let's start with rewinding a little bit.
Yeah.
There's some stuff that happened last week that we didn't fully know the full scope of until after we posted. So we want to give you a bit of an update. Gracie, you want to start out?
So last week we were talking about how, during qualifying, Fernando was mad and how Yuki caused a red flag and Fernando and Max didn't go back out. And then we were like, why is Fernando so mad? He was, throwing his clothes around. That's weird. That was so weird. Come to find out, the FIA, when the red flag happened for Yuki in Q3, the FIA led Lance and Fernando coming in first, to basically a fake Parc Ferme with the Xfinity F1 movie cars. So Fernando parked up right behind a fake F1 car.
Right behind Brad Pitt's car.
No, literally. Fuck you, Brad Pitt. Lance fortunately parked to the side of it, so he easily got away. But Fernando turned off his car, took off his steering wheel, started getting out. And then the FIA came up to the car and they were like, no, get back in. His mechanics had to run down the pit lane to go get him, buckled back in. So, yeah, he should have been pissed off.
Yeah. So fair.
I'd be so mad. And that's also, how are we letting that happen?
I am honestly surprised that this is the first time that that movie, set or that production has gotten in the way of things. And also, it's just kind of crazy to me that, they already, have a trailer out for this movie.
I know.
So you'd think that they would be done filming it.
I'm so confused.
But then why are the cars still there? Are they still filming it? What's the dealio?
Literally, what is the dealio? Well, they are, because Brad Pitt's just walking around in the background. That's also so funny.
He's just, extending out the filming because he's having fun. He's oh, we need a couple more shots.
That one time when, I forget what Grand Prix it was. It was a few weeks ago when, both Checo and Charles had shit strategies, and they're, distressed in the interviews, and you see Brad Pitt walking around in the background with his fake PR manager.
Yeah. It was, I think it was literally Austria, because Lando was so upset.
Oh, yes, it was Austria.
And it was when him and Max crashed.
Yes.
And he was, very, obviously, struggling to get through this interview without, losing his mind. You just see Brad Pitt being, led around by a manager or whatever. It's silly.
It's so silly.
It's so silly, but it's Formula One, so who's surprised?
No.
Formula One is so silly.
This is not a serious sport. And they want to try and claim it is, but it's just not.
It's not.
No. Moving on a little bit this week, I'm going to talk about my dislike for something real quick.
Which is ironic, because we're both wearing McLaren merch right now.
Yeah.
But we're once again not very happy with McLaren right now.
So obviously everything that happened last week with Lando and Oscar, the win, everything. Lando did a bunch of interviews this week and was hated that it kind of clouded over it. Should give it back right away. Blah blah blah. Whatever. I'm going to talk about the fact that last week Lando had a beautiful helmet for the Hungarian Grand Prix.
Beautiful.
Because we all know the history. He broke the trophy last year, got it remade, the champagne pop this year, and then he did the helmet from the same company that makes the trophies, and they hand-painted it. So Lando, for his qualifying helmet, he gave it away to auction up for charity. It's still going. The last I checked, it was $42,000. If you can,
maybe if we scrounge our money together.
Yeah, no, for sure.
If every one of our listeners donate only $10,000,
we could get it.
That means we have 4 listeners. Thanks, guys.
But he did it in Lando had posted about it on Instagram, and, like, his LN4 account had posted about it on Twitter. The McLaren social media did not post about it whatsoever, which is, like, your driver donated his helmet for charity. It's a charity for visually impaired children in Hungary. And you're not saying a single thing about it when you posting about it could up those donations so much.
Yeah.
And you could, I don't know, it's so weird. The way, also I feel like the McLaren social media kind of handled all of last week and this week was a little off. I don't know.
It seems like things are fine now.
Yeah, for sure.
They've righted themselves. That people, it felt fine.
Yeah, this week was fine, but I don't know, the way they moved this week was weird.
Yeah.
I just, like, literally you could have raised so much more money by posting it. It's going on for another full week, so.
If you're listening, McLaren, just make a little post.
You could have, they also, literally the least they could have done was just retweet the LN4 post.
Yeah.
I don't know. Or, like, quoted it and been like, great thing going on here, I don't know. It was really weird. Yeah, I don't know. They're kind of making me mad right now. I follow a girl on Twitter who, like, very knowledgeable in, like, social media posting. She, like, has so many degrees in, like, PR, management, comm, social media, and she was talking about it. It was very insightful. I forget I think her name's M on Twitter. Oh yeah, her like thing says M at Arouge. I always say that wrong. Yeah. Her tweets are very insightful. She's a huge Lando fan too, so
Nice.
yeah, liked her tweets. Should we talk about other big news that dropped?
Yeah.
We've got someone coming back to the paddock.
Wait, what dropped?
That Sauber is bringing back, I always say his name wrong, Mattia.
Oh, yeah. Mattia Binotto.
Question mark.
He's coming back, and honestly, like, everyone was joking there, like, that pretty much signed the deal for Carlos that he wasn't going to Sauber because he had to deal with him. God, imagine Charles. Charles and Mattia had such a tumultuous,
good word,
thank you, relationship, at least from the outside looking in. We don't know the facts, but it definitely was tension a lot. And Charles is having to walk through the paddock and see him being like a jump scare.
Oh yeah, so he is going to be the chief operating and technical officer at Sauber/Audi, and he's starting August 1st this year. So we will be seeing him around a lot more. Nico Hülkenberg, thoughts and prayers for you, buddy.
Oh my god, I do wonder who's going to be the other.
I know
we thought about it being Valtteri.
Yeah,
again,
we should
keeping
give
Valtteri.
I think at the end of the recap, we'll give our predictions for the rest of the
because they've altered a bit.
Yeah,
changed a bit.
Also, I guess back to Lando last week a little bit. We found out that he experienced a glitch in the beginning.
Yeah.
A
glitch in the Matrix. Just
kidding.
Matrix. Yeah, he had something. What was it? His
gears.
Yeah.
I think like his car switching into second gear. There's a glitch with it. Nico Rosberg pointed out right away. And Nico Rosberg is a Lando defender. So is Jensen.
How could you not be?
No, literally.
All of those grown men are falling in love.
These retired world champions.
You retire from Formula One, you instantly fall in love with Lando Norris. It's just like a requirement.
And I get it. Mm-hmm. And then one more thing from last week, too, is Yuki's crash. We found out it was 68 Gs.
Yeah,
that's insane. And that's that's more than what Romain Grosjean experienced with his huge crash in 21.
What was Max's? Max's was high, but not that high.
Oh, I don't know what
Max's was. I think it's like 50 something.
Yeah, I don't know.
In Silverstone 2021.
Yeah.
I remember being a big number, though. Because there's that, like, viral clip of, like, Daniel asking about him, and they tell him how many Gs, and he, like, his eyes get so wide.
Yeah. Would you love to tell us about Marcus Ericsson?
Oh, my God.
And we're not talking about IndyCar.
Marcus is messy.
Messy.
I love it.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong.
Sure.
So basically, Marcus has a podcast, and in the podcast, he talked about how he's heard around the IndyCar paddock that there's drama with basically Logan, and then he basically said that Logan and James Vowles are not on speaking terms, and that they just aren't, there's no relationship there at all. Everyone kind of assumed that it's just coming from Kyle Kirkwood because Kyle Kirkwood is Marcus's teammate at Andretti, but Kyle is also friends with Logan in real life, IRL friends.
IRL.
And, like, imagine me and Kyle being like, dude, what the fuck?
Also, Marcus Ericsson's podcast is in Swedish.
Yes.
So we were like, I think it was like translated too. I think people were like, that's not, the translation's not real, it's not right. And then somebody was like, no, it is right. And then Logan came out this week on Media Day and was like, well, Marcus Ericsson likes to talk about things he doesn't know shit about.
Did he deny it?
Yeah, he was like, I talked to James 20 minutes ago. I can't really tell. A lot of people were like, is this a PR statement? Is this what? I don't know. It wasn't like a video of Logan saying it. He was quoted saying it. So if it was a video,
I bet, if anything, I mean, obviously they have to have a pretty bad relationship because it's basically like James has come out in the media multiple times that he's basically just trying to find someone to replace Logan at this point. Yeah. And I think that, like, even if, like, they probably have, like, I can imagine Logan is professional enough to be, like, fine in person, but they're not talking about the weather. Like,
no.
Alex and James probably will, like, be like, oh, hey, how was your weekend? Blah, 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 blah. And the same way that Logan and James probably were, like, last year. But they aren't, maybe there's not on speaking terms, like, as far as, like, non-work related things.
Team stuff.
At the end of the day, though, yeah, Marcus, that was
insane.
But, like, I'm sure Kyle was probably like, Logan is probably like, Kyle, like, stop telling Marcus the shit that I'm telling you. Like, don't tell anyone. Be like, can I tell my teammate? Definitely not.
No.
But that is interesting.
That also just, people were like, well, we also, like, don't know. We're just assuming that Logan told Kyle, but if Logan was telling Kyle, people are like, oh, I know, because Kyle's an IndyCar. We were like, maybe this is furthering the Prema agenda. And we are keeping our fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Some fun news from this week. I'm actually going to talk about a DM that I got.
Oh, okay.
I did get a DM from Pietro.
Yeah.
I woke up at 6 a.m. to text messages from Gracie screaming at me to record my reaction once I got on social media. And in my head, I was like, this is a driver news, like maybe Carlos announced where he was signing. It could have been anything in my head.
We do that a lot. So like if things happen, we're like, record your reaction.
And so, like, I didn't even know what to do, but I'm never going to show probably everyone the clip because I'm insane in it. But I log on, and it was just a very casual, like, well, he liked some of our reels. He commented on one, and he sent, like, the picture, basically, and just DM'd was like, oh, yeah, like, was something about, like, the hats and stuff, because I made a TikTok about how there's no Pietro hats anywhere that I can find. I had to make one. Oh, I should have worn it.
Yeah. But
it was just a big moment for me.
It started out on, was it Friday? I think it was Friday. I, like, fell asleep pretty late. I couldn't fall asleep. I think it was, like, midnight. And I'm, like, falling asleep. And you know what happens when you're, like, half awake, half asleep, and you realize you haven't slept much, but something's waking you up? Because I was getting repeated notifications on my phone. And I literally was like, what the fuck is happening right now? Why am I getting so many notifications? I know I just fell asleep. Like, it's not morning. And I look at my phone to see what's going on, and I just see Pietro liked a reel. Pietro liked a reel. Pietro commented. Pietro sent a DM. Pietro sent a DM. And I was like, what? I was freaking out. And then I was like, in what world did I ever think I could say the words Pietro Fittipaldi DMing my podcast on Instagram woke me up at 2 in the morning?
If I would have said that sentence to you a year ago, you'd have been like, what podcast? Who's Pietro Fittipaldi? What is
literally going on? And, like, obviously he sent it because he did his reserve driver responsibilities this weekend in Spa. So we were like, oh, it was like early morning for him over there. And I was like, I can't believe Pietro Fittipaldi woke me up at 2 in the morning. Oh my god. So I texted saying, I was like, I know I need to capture a reaction. I literally said in the text, I said, for the love of God, if you do anything in life, do this for me, please.
Mm-hmm. And I did.
And then I was going to even, because you, literally before you told me you were going to wake up around like 8 and not watch the beginning of FP1, and I planned on watching it. So I was like, oh, when FP1 happens, I'm going to just call you.
Yeah.
But you woke up before me anyway.
Yeah, and I couldn't go back to bed. I woke up so early. It was like one of those things that like you wake up and you're like, ooh, I have another hour and a half to sleep. I just woke up because I had to pee, so I went to the bathroom and I was like, oh, it's going to be so nice. I'm going to go back to bed for another hour until my alarm goes off. And then that happened. I couldn't go back to sleep.
No, absolutely not.
And the thing is, too, is that like I saw her text that, and then like I was like, oh, nice. I closed my eyes. Like, I'll just, record my reaction when I wake up later. Yeah. And I was like laying there and I was like, I gotta see what's going on right now. It was crazy.
Insane.
Some more fun news. Mm-hmm. Ollie and Carlos went biking together.
Yeah, I loved it.
I love that.
Love that for them.
Was that before the Haas announcement for Esteban?
I think it was from a few weeks ago.
Which we didn't even talk about.
Yeah, I was just going to say we need to do that as well.
Mm-hmm. But it's cute that the pictures of them. I think a lot of people were like, oh, Ollie and maybe Carlos is going to Haas, like they're bonding as teammates, all of that. But then obviously, news dropped this week that Esteban is taking the Haas seat. So the Haas team is confirmed for next year. It'll be Ollie and Esteban. Okay. Which would be an interesting team. Tall-ass team. Lanky-ass team.
Literally.
How tall are they?
Oh, I have no clue. Ollie went, on live this weekend, and it was really cute, because somebody I think he did Instagram Live, somebody was like, who's going to be your bestie next year in F1? And he goes, oh, I don't know, I hope my teammate Esteban, or probably my teammate Esteban, it was so cute.
I bet he would have said Kimi, but he couldn't have, because he couldn't announce that he was going to be on the track next year.
I don't think Mercedes has picked that.
What?
I don't think Mercedes has fully signed him.
No, that's what I'm saying. But I think, I feel like if Kimi was going to be an F1 next year, he probably knows, just not officially. Yeah. But also, I feel like he would have said Kimi if Kimi was on the grid. Because him and Kimi get along.
Yeah.
They talk
also
a lot.
for, meeting this year.
Yeah.
Also, in it, in Ollie's live, he had caused... for Pepe Marti, they kind of not came together, but he caused
he got in the way.
Yes, he got
for
in the
his
way.
Qualifying lap.
And so I don't know if Pepe commented or somebody else commented, but he was like, "Oh, how much do you talk to Pepe?" And he was like, "Only a few times when I got in his way. Sorry." And Pepe commented and was like, "Love you."
Yeah,
it's cute.
It was cute. F2 is so silly.
F2 is so silly as well.
This F2 this week
actually
was crazy.
Speaking of silly. Red Bull tried to give Max a curfew on sim racing.
Yeah, and then Max was in the media this week being like, "I'm a 3-time world champion. Champion.
He was like, "I did it every freaking year. I'm fine."
Yeah. That's silly.
That's really silly. And then all of Max's friends at Redline were tweeting about it. It was so funny. They were like, "Oh, good thing Max practiced racing in the wet."
Yeah, Spa.
Literally. It was funny.
Yeah, all that sim racing came.
Yeah, it helped.
It helped a lot.
Should we get into the weekend?
Yeah, let's get right into it.
Well, since we're on Max, Thursday, Friday, it was floating around that Max is going to receive a grid penalty for replacing his... Oh God, what is it? It just left my brain.
What was it? Engine? You got an engine?
Yeah.
Placement? Power unit?
Power unit.
Okay.
Gosh.
I was like, I genuinely don't know.
So we were like, whoa. And then finally it was confirmed that he got that 10th place.
Yeah, that came out on Friday.
Yeah. Qualifying?
Qualifying was wet.
It was wet.
It was okay. It was a stressful qualifying because of the rain.
Yeah.
And so Spa's just one of those tracks that it really, really needs to you're gonna see an obvious difference between the first couple of laps done and then the later laps. Mm-hmm. But then with the rain, it was are the times gonna get improving, or are they going to not improve because of the rain coming in later in the qualifying session? Yeah. And so it was you didn't know who was safe ever. So Lando could literally put a lap together and be up to second, and then a bunch of people 2 seconds later 5 people completed laps. Lando's down to 7th. Like,
Yeah.
it's just so impossible to, like, know, like, okay, everything's going to be fine. It's just so hard to read the track times.
It's stressful.
It was very stressful.
As a Lando fan, it was stressful.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if anything crazy happened. And because of that, a lot of the upper teams, like, they didn't, but some people almost got out in Q1. That was like both the Ferraris took a while to put like a good lap together in Q1. Checo took a while, which Checo was so close to getting out in Q1 again, guys, and not even for a crash, just on his own driving abilities, really. And which we should talk about that later. And it was just one of those that, like,
it
never
was
felt settled.
Yeah, it never felt settled. It was stressful, but then it was like, okay, I don't know. Like, there wasn't really, like, a woo.
Yeah, and also, it was hard because, like, I kept being like, oh, Max to the top. But even then, you had to, like, remember, like, well, he's getting a 10-place grid penalty, so, like, he ended up, obviously, technically getting pole, but he started on 11th. And then it was Charles, and then Lewis? It was Max, Charles, Lewis?
Checo.
Max, Charles, Checo, Lewis. So then when Max was down, the top 3 was Charles.
Yeah.
Charles, Checo, Lewis. That was kind of a tongue twister.
You okay?
It's tough there. No.
Right.
But yeah, so qualifying was good. The race started. Luckily, it was a dry race.
Yeah.
Because Spa is already just a scary track to watch, especially in the rain. It's very scary. And for it being Spa, this was a very, like,
it was so
clean,
cold,
like, no crashes, no one. I don't think anybody DNF'd, did they?
Joe did.
Well, can't win them all, I guess.
Can't win them all.
But it was like a really clean and again a calm race. The whole weekend was weirdly calm.
I feel like after
for
last
being Spa
weekend too.
Really, the last couple of weekends, the
Yeah.
triple header, and then a lot of stuff happened in the triple header, and then stuff happened last week that, like, it just felt like so normal, like nothing.
It was kind of weird.
It was nothing to write home about.
You know, it wasn't much to write home
Although,
about.
I mean, I guess a lot of shit happened after.
The race was good, and we'll get into that, but I don't know. It was just so... I don't know.
Yeah.
And was it? I don't even know what it was.
I don't know either.
Let's talk about the race. Let's talk about George Russell.
Oh, man. He
First of
did
all,
fantastic.
phenomenal. Like, he was out there halfway through the race, and he had done one stop, and then he was kind of seeing what was happening with the other stops, and then he said to his team, what do we think about a one stop? Let's try a one stop. We were sitting there and we were like, no way.
Yeah, they were like, we were like, not gonna work.
Yeah, we were like, that'd be insane if it worked. And George Russell pulled off a one stop race, winning. We'll get there, don't worry. Winning the race, and with Lewis and Oscar both behind having fresher tires, he did such a good job. And yeah, at the end of the day, George Russell got disqualified because his car was 1.5 kilograms underweight.
How heartbreaking,
that is
too.
So, like, he had such a good race. He managed his tires
like,
so well.
If this issue didn't happen, where he got disqualified, like, that would be, like, probably the best, like, race. Like, people would talk about that for a long time, about how well he managed his tires.
And it's just...
Which hopefully, they probably still will talk about it, but, like, it kind of
then,
takes it away a little bit, you know?
Unfortunately, have to be like, well, he then got disqualified. No, he has literally everything, absolutely, to be proud of himself on how he managed that. He handled it really well, too.
And that's a lot from Gracie, because Gracie does not love George Russell.
No.
So that's some really, what is it? High praise coming from Gracie.
Yeah, for sure. No, he did such a good job. That was fantastic to see. And then at the end of the race,
it was like Lewis and George kind of battling it out near the end.
Mercedes let them battle. Bono just came on Hamilton's radio and said, "Keep it clean."
Yeah, he was just like give each other space. But,
yeah.
And Oscar was like 5 seconds behind Hamilton in third at one point, and it was like 10 laps to go, and, like, Oscar's engineer came over and was just like, all right, time to push. And, like, I've said this before, but a couple more laps, he could have caught Lewis. He caught up so quickly. Like the gap was there.
He was right behind them.
Yeah, he literally, like, was right up behind them. He caught up. He could have overtaken him. I don't know if he would have caught George, but George wasn't that far ahead, you know?
Mm-hmm. I feel like Mercedes would have had them stop battling to not... We were even talking about that. We were like, Oscar's catching up. Why are they letting them battle still?
Yeah. No,
like,
I think they would have, like,
they would have
at one
told them
point.
to stop, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, it just left my little noggin.
Left your little noggin?
It left my little noggin. I'm going to talk about Lando and Max. Lando, unfortunately, could not catch Max for the life of him.
Lando had a rough weekend.
He
even said that he's just like, it just didn't, like, the setup, like, didn't feel right to me all week. And, like, even during qualifying, he's like, something wasn't clicking. And you could tell that he wasn't fully comfortable during the race. And, yeah, he never caught on up to Max there, so.
Yeah.
Which Max did make up quite a bit of placement, because he obviously started at 11th, and he made his way up to 5th.
Max, 4th.
4th.
So also at the beginning of the race, Lando started 4th technically because of Max dropping down, but he went off in the beginning and, like, dropped significantly, and then Max caught up significantly, so they were, like, right there the whole time next to each other, and Lando just could not catch him. At one point they were showing, like, the Merc battle, and I guess Lando had just kind of gotten close to him in, like, a corner. And I was like, oh my god, why are they showing it? He's getting so close! And then our friend was like, he just got close to him in a corner. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay.
It was... Until the end, it was kind of a boring race. I won't lie.
McLaren successfully undercut Carlos, though, with Lando. So that was to look forward to. I was really nervous. That worked out for them.
Yep.
So the standings went, well, it was George... Lewis, Oscar, Podium, but then George got disqualified.
So sad.
So it's technically Lewis, Oscar, and Charles on the podium, and then it went Max, Lando, Carlos, Checo, Alonso, Ocon, Ricardo. Ricardo got some points. Stroll, Alex Albon, Pierre Gasly, Kevin Magnussen, Valtteri Bottas, Yuki, and Logan Sargent, and Nico Hülkenberg. What happened to Nico Hülkenberg?
I don't know, but that is weird. I didn't even notice he dropped back. It's like, it was one of those things that, like, nothing was exciting was happening at the back, so, like, you only got shown the front battles, which doesn't always happen. It happens a lot, but doesn't always happen. Pull up the championship.
Also, at the very end, Checo had, like, huge gap to Alonso, so they pit Checo to put him on softs and get fastest lap.
Yeah. Which we didn't know at the time. We're like, why is Checo in the pit?
Yeah, and then we were like, we saw it at the end. We're like, oh, that makes sense. I didn't see driver of the day.
Lewis.
Was it Lewis?
No,
I didn't even see, like, the vote pop up.
I saw the vote pop up.
Oh, I didn't see the vote pop. I think it had to have been
was
George.
Between George, Lewis, and Oscar, but I think George got it.
Okay, yeah, so same thing. It had to be George.
He should have got it if he did it.
Drivers championship standing. It is Max, Lando, Charles, Oscar.
Oscar moved up.
Oscar did move up.
He overtook Carlos.
Lewis, Checo, George for a while before George got disqualified. George had overtaken Checo for 7th place.
And he probably will next week. Or
next
maybe
week?
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
And the next race. Or maybe not that one, the next one. But yeah, for a minute Checo did drop down to 8th, and I'm sure Checo was, like, shitting himself. Yeah, which still doesn't look good. So more and more rumors are saying that Red Bull is replacing Checo.
Yeah. Also, that somebody, I mean, we've heard it, been talking about it for so long, but I saw the person that posted it was like, it was just, he was posting a Twitter thread, and he was like, this is just me doing my journalism. Like, I didn't see any validity to it.
Yeah, there was no, like, sources, but, like, we've seen people do that before, and they were right. So, it's just, basically, all the things are pointing to, they're going to put Daniel, or this rumor is they're going to put Daniel in the Red Bull after summer break, and he's basically going to have half a year to prove himself. And if he does good, he'll go to Red Bull next year. If he doesn't do good, then he'll either stay at V-Carb or just be a reserve driver. I've also heard things that, like, Daniel has said that he doesn't care to go to another team. He doesn't want to look at another team. If he doesn't have a spot at Red Bull, he's probably going to retire.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Which would be crazy.
Yeah, that'd be insane. We've also seen, like, if Daniel's not in, Yuki goes up, and then V-Carb is Liam Lawson, Isaac Ajar, which I would absolutely love that. So that could be insane. I, last week was listening to Fan Behaviors podcast, and they're big Daniel Ricciardo fans, and they were like, summer break is going to be stressful because it's either Daniel moving up to the Red Bull or Daniel being dropped from V-Carb. Like, there is no in between.
And the fact
right
that
now.
there is, like, that big of a difference,
yeah,
is
crazy. They were like, we don't even know what to do.
All I really care about is Liam Lawson getting a seat next year. I don't care how it happens. I would just like for him to have a seat. If he has to take Daniel's seat, good.
I don't want to. They're not going to, but don't put him in Checo's seat.
No, I think it would be setting him up for
Daniel.
failure.
Yeah, Daniel makes the most sense to move up, and I'm also listening to Fan Behavior. I was Team Yuki for a while, but the way how Daniel's raced against Max, been in that seat before, like
I think Daniel's also would be a lot more willing to let Max in front of him versus like Yuki. I think he would be better for keeping the dynamic of the team.
Yeah.
But him and Max were looking pretty cozy at the Goodwood.
No, they were. Well, also
races.
everybody was saying like him and Max were close this weekend. I forget there was a video.
They were on a helicopter.
What?
There was a video of them on a helicopter after the race, and everyone was like them Max soft launching his new teammate. Like that. It's just it was funny. I think Joss was in the back. Like
also. Oh, my little noggin lost it.
God, again?
I know.
Start writing this down.
Wait for it. Oh, and the pressers afterwards, Max was asked about the Checo rumors, basically, and he was like, I don't think we need to be worrying about Checo right now. We need to be worrying about the car.
Yeah.
So
fair.
Yeah.
So true. One thing about Max, though, is he won't talk shit about his teammate.
No, he also loves Checo.
He does
love
love
Checo. Such a
Checo.
great teammate relationship.
Yeah, and honestly, like, they've been teammates for a long time.
Yeah.
Like,
well together.
And a lot of, like, very formative years for Max. Like,
He helped Max.
He helped Max a lot, and I think it's going to be an adjustment no matter who steps into the seat. I think it'd be the least of an adjustment
for Daniel.
If it was Daniel.
Yes. But
I do also wonder, like, if that's going to change the dynamic of their relationship again, because obviously they weren't the best, after Baku back in 2019. They weren't, like, the best of friends after that. And so if there were to be another situation that happened, I don't think there would, because I think Daniel's definitely more...
They've both matured.
Yeah, matured.
Yeah.
But I think also Daniel, like, understands that Max runs the show. Back then, it was a power struggle.
It was, for sure.
Now there's very obvious pecking orders that don't really even need to be, like, discussed. So I think that'll help. But it'll be interesting if they are teammates. I would really like to see Daniel step into the seat.
And
I'd be interested. And also I think it would prove to a lot of people, like, is Daniel washed or not? Like, actually, okay, we'll put him in a Red Bull. And it'll be very telling. I think if he can't figure it out, though, he needs to go.
I kind of left the Daniel Ricciardo train a bit after those comments that he made about Christian Horner, noise and distraction.
Yep.
I don't know, though. I found myself this week a little bit back.
I noticed that.
Yeah, I know. Well, I forgot what it was. It was during qualifying. I literally was like, whoa! Like, cheering for him. And then you...
No, I literally go like, Gracie,
like,
what?
I don't know.
He's hard not to, like...
No,
he's hard to stay mad at.
Yeah.
Basically. He's so charming. He's got a good personality. Like, I understand why everybody likes him.
Yeah.
I think he genuinely is a good guy. He just sometimes puts his foot in his mouth. As all of the drivers do.
Yeah, I was going to say as a Lando fan.
As a Lando fan, I mean, Yuki had those comments a couple weeks ago. Like, Fernando Alonso is Fernando Alonso.
Yeah.
Like, they all say stupid things. Because at the end of the day, they're all men.
They're all men.
Which we should fix.
We Really should.
We need to fix that.
Let's talk constructors real quick, and then maybe we can do our
summer break predictions.
Yeah, we need to get our champagne pops and problems.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. Constructors right now, still Red Bull with 408 points, but McLaren is at 366 points. That is not
Give me like
far
2 or 3
behind.
good races.
Yeah. Ferrari is at 345, which they're still really close to us. Mercedes is at 266, and Aston Martin is all the way at 73. So
it's really just a battle for the top 4, I think. And
sure.
I think that I hope that we catch up to Red Bull. I think if things continue the way that they are, we will catch Red Bull, and I think we will be able to win Constructors' Cup.
Yeah, I could see it.
And I think, it would be hard, but I think that Lando should not count himself out of the Drivers' Championship.
I don't think so either. Even Max quite literally has said that.
Because again, so many,
so.
Red Bull has just not been as consistent as they usually are.
Yeah.
And I think that if Lando's able to capitalize on those weeks that Red Bull's not consistent, and, Max finishes outside of the points or DNFs or anything like that.
Yeah.
I think if he can capitalize on those, that'll be good. Because at the end of the day, McLaren is just more, they're not always the fastest car on the track, but they're at least consistently up at the top. Red Bull's hit or miss.
Yeah. Which also, before we get into our champagne pops and champagne problems, we talked about this week. A lot of people have been saying this too. For McLaren, Lando and Oscar have figured out how to take this car and turn it into a winning and championship car. The team itself just needs to figure out how to deal with 2 championship winning Grand Prix winning drivers. They haven't figured that out yet.
And once they do figure it out, they're going to have the secret. But that's always going to be hard on any team.
Yeah, for sure. And
any team that has 2 really well matched
drivers
and really successful drivers, there's going to be tension. I mean, you see it with Ferrari with Carlos and Charles.
Yeah.
They're both kind of at the same level. And they're always near each other on the track, and that causes a lot of issues. The same with McLaren. They're always near each other on the track. Alpine, even all the way at the bottom, they're always around each other. But teams like Red Bull, for example, Max and Checo are very rarely starting next to each other on the grid. Or same with Williams. There's not a huge amount of tension between Logan and Alex. I mean, Logan and the team is a different story, but there's never tension between Logan and Alex because they aren't each other's direct competitors.
Yeah,
and that's going to have to be something that McLaren works through, but that might not be something that they can really fix.
Well, I think it's also, from where they were a year ago even, not having such a fast car, and, they're still trying to figure that out from a couple of bad years of not having just a good car and a good team.
Right.
The team itself needs to figure that out.
Yeah. For sure.
And I hope summer break does them good.
They need to have a good team powwow.
No, they really do, because I feel like there's just been so many opportunities. Silverstone being
so many opportunities where they're if you would have done the one thing different that everybody told you that you should have probably done, you could have a lot more points under your belt.
And I mean, there have been a few driver mistakes. Obviously Lando today going off at the beginning isn't going to help, but I don't know. There's also been a lot of team stuff that's been needs to be worked on in my expert opinion.
And we are experts.
For sure. Should we do our champagne pops and our champagne problems for the week?
Yeah.
Who is your champagne pop?
I'm going to give my champagne pop to George.
I will also give my champagne pop to
George Russell. God, George Russell.
Wow, you haven't talked about that in a while.
I haven't talked about George Russell in a long
time. We have already talked about it. Such a good job. Absolutely.
Amazing.
Managing his tires, keeping 2 drivers with fresh tires off of him from behind.
Who's your champagne problem?
I haven't really thought about
Anyone had a really bad race?
Yeah.
I would say it would probably, for me, I don't know, maybe just Logan, because he's so slow. I love him, don't get me wrong. Maybe Zhou, because he DNF'd.
I'm going to give my champagne problem to whoever the fuck miscalculated George's car.
Yeah. Don't know whose job that is.
Seriously.
Yikes.
But
it was hard, because they set the car, there's almost no way to avoid it. They set the car up for a 2-stop.
Yeah.
And
true.
because of him going an extra stop, the tires were different, the gas was different, like, it was different.
That's true.
And that, I think, affected the weight. So there's no way of, like, I don't even know if you can, like, put it on the team for not being prepared, because they were prepared. But then again, it's also their job to be prepared for the unprepared.
They should have been prepared for that.
They got to expect the unexpected, in the wise words of Julie from Big Brother.
Okay.
Julie Chen,
love that.
Expect the unexpected.
I'm also actually gonna, I guess not that. Sorry.
Go ahead, get it out.
We didn't talk about the fact that now Lewis has joined Max in the rankings this year of being the only other driver to win more than one race.
Wait. Lewis has?
Yeah, because Lewis technically won this race. It would have been George.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
It would have been George to join him, but now it's technically Lewis.
I still can't get over the fact that we have seven winners.
That's insane.
7!
Literally insane.
If you would have said that you had 7 different race winners last year, you'd have been shocked.
No, literally. Also, this time last year, what month is it? This time last year is when I started getting into Formula One. It's when I slowly started to come up on my For You page on TikTok, and Zandvoort was my
because I kept sending her TikToks.
Yeah, you did.
I probably sent her like
I would come home from work
15,
and have like 15 notifications from you,
and they were all Formula One TikToks. So if you're trying to get your friend into Formula One, send some really good edits, send some funny videos.
You got to know where to get them. The edits get me. The cute fan videos got me. I've talked about that so many times.
I sent her a couple Hamilton the Musical edits to Formula One. I know my audience. Yeah. I know what I'm doing.
So I'm coming up on my year anniversary. You're coming up on your 2-year anniversary.
Wow, that's so true. Yeah, because I started watching I started watching the week before my birthday, which was like, it'll be like
2 years.
This week.
Yeah.
Wow.
Happy for us.
Oh my gosh. High five.
Let's talk about what we think is going to happen over summer break.
Oh, God. Okay. So, let's get this out of the way. I think Carlos is going to Williams, and I think he's going to announce it during summer break.
He also allegedly has, like, a huge exit clause.
Which I think is good for him.
Yeah, for sure. It's good for him. I think Williams know that's the only way they're going to get him. Mm-hmm. And his exit clause is, allegedly, if a spot opens up at Mercedes or Red Bull, he will, and he is offered it, he can leave. Mm-hmm. With basically no repercussions. And James Vowell said a week ago that we would know who Alex's teammate is going to be within 2 weeks. So I think it's going to happen sometime soon. And then I think Carlos is going to announce it, and then he's throwing his phone in the ocean, and we will see him Thursday media day for Zandvoort.
Mm-hmm. I do. I wonder though, like when we will get the news. Like, do you think we'll get it like this week?
I think so.
What if we wake up to the news tomorrow? That'd be crazy.
I literally... When was it? Oh, Spain. I freaking turned on Carlos's Twitter notifications because I want to be the first. I want to know right away.
Yeah.
And nothing's happened.
But you know what sucks is that we post this podcast on Monday mornings.
No, I know. And then it's happened so many times. Like, it happened with the Aero McLaren cars. It happened with Teo. It happened with Dave. We were like, oh, Dave's looking better. He could be back soon. And then they were like, Dave, out.
We wake up tomorrow to news that somehow, like, Carlos is going to, like, to Red Bull. And we're like, oh, we sound like fools this whole episode.
We are recording this Sunday, July 28th.
Yeah,
okay?
So if we sound stupid, that's why. No, but I think that will obviously be a big thing. Over summer break, I think that we will... I really hope that we get a lot of answers over summer break. So
I think we'll get a few once that domino falls.
Because right now, all the teams that obviously... Ferrari is secured. McLaren is secured. Now Haas is secured.
Red Bull's technically secure, but we don't know.
Yeah, who knows with Red Bull and RB? I'm not touching them.
Okay, so the Mercedes seat. We both agree Kimmy's going to get it. Mm-hmm. That's our prediction.
Yep.
The Sauber seat, we think it's going to be Valtteri.
Yeah, that's what we're thinking. Like, I don't know who else they would put in it. Mm-hmm. Like, obviously, like, Gracie would love for Zayn Maloney to be put in it.
If it's not Valtteri, I don't think it's going to be Zhou.
I don't think it's going to be Zhou.
Their most likely would be move up Zayn Maloney from F2.
Yeah, which I think that Nico would be a good teammate for a rookie.
I think so, too.
I think he'd be a good teammate.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think Valtteri and Nico would work well together, and I think it'd be a good team to build on to, like, the foundation for the following year when Audi kind of takes over. But I just... That's an old-ass team, I'm not going to lie.
It is an old team.
And a very blonde team.
Their PR videos will be so funny.
Yeah, no, they actually would. They both, I think, would do great.
Yeah,
and as long as they keep Sauber keeps the same PR team.
Oh my god, they'll be
they are
fine.
fantastic.
Yeah.
They are fantastic.
So for RB, if Daniel moves, we obviously Liam Lawson. The Alpine seat. Jack Doohan.
We hope Jack Doohan gets it.
I feel like it would have to be Jack to get it unless Carlos for some reason goes to Alpine, which I don't.
Or it still could technically be Mick.
Shit, I forgot about Mick.
Yeah.
Between Mick and Jack, I really don't know who I would want it to be.
I think that I would prefer for it to be Jack.
Me too.
Because I do love Mick, but Mick has... he's started doing stuff with WEC. Like, he's going to be fine if he doesn't get it. And... Again, I like Mick, and yes, it was Haas, but Mick had his chance in Formula One. Mm-hmm. Jack hasn't, and I think it sucks that, again, that I just think that they need to bring in more rookies and get some fresh blood in there, and I think that if they continue the trend of maybe giving some Formula One drivers second chances, like, you know, how they even brought, like, K-Mag back, which, again, I think was a good move, but it just, I think... is just going to make it harder for rookies in the future. So I hope Jack gets it. Yeah. But I would be happy if Mick stepped into the seat. Don't get me wrong. I love Mick.
I want it to be Jack for sure. I think Mick's doing really well in WEC too. He's, I don't know, he's been doing well in WEC. I feel like that kind of suits him. You know what I mean? Yeah. He's
able to build his own legacy there.
Yeah, for sure. So... I don't know. I just really also want Jack in there. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that all the teams?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then Williams, obviously, we talked about.
Carlos would go there.
All I know is
so interesting.
So far, I'm interested most immediately in what's going to happen, if Logan's going to come back or not. I don't think I think they're going to replace him midway through the year.
Yeah.
But who's going to replace him midway through the year then?
Well, they also posted on their Williams app a screenshot of it was like, you know, something, Logan's into the race, see him back in so many weeks, which obviously that could literally mean nothing,
right?
Or it was like, see him back in 4 weeks for Zandvoort or whatever. So that'll be so interesting.
Yeah.
All the Logan girlies were like, he's staying, and I was like, let's not go there yet.
Yeah. No, but would they bring in Kimi up early from Williams?
I don't know, maybe get him used to an F1 car for half a season. I literally don't know.
Oh my god, though, we're not going to really deep dive into F2, but there is a clip from this past weekend with Kimi. I forget who he was battling with.
Good.
But he literally, it was raining, and he does this amazing, overtake in Eau Rouge. And it's literally he's getting squeezed into the wall, and it's raining, and he just full on sends it in the rain. It's like, that kid's got some balls.
And I think we were waiting to see this Kimi.
Yeah, because everyone hyped him up so much, and we didn't obviously follow his career until he got to F2. We didn't follow him from before. I did some research, but not that much.
Yeah.
So before, people were like, "Oh, bring Kimi up." I was like, "Yeah, sure," but
yeah, and
then I was like, "Oh."
I also think the Prema car not being very good this year wasn't helping him. Mm-hmm. But now that we're seeing this, we're like, we get it. But I'm still riding on the train
that it's too early.
It's too early, and it would be good experience to keep him in F2 to the end of the year.
Mm-hmm. He's so young.
He's 17.
Mm-hmm. But again, it's like a double-edged sword.
It is a double-edged sword.
You bring
100%.
him up, you get him experience, you get him ready for Mercedes.
Yeah.
What I want to know is why they wouldn't put Carlos in a Mercedes. Why would they not? You know?
I don't think they want that seat filler. And Toto wants Kimi long run because of missing Max.
That's true. But yeah. Put him in a Williams for a year.
But I don't think Carlos. I think Carlos wants a long deal.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I think that was one of Carlos's biggest things.
But is Williams even going to be a long deal? He has this clause in it for a Mercedes seat.
Yeah, I think there's just a lot. I think even Toto came out again and said Toto's fucking obsessed with Max Verstappen.
I get it. Me too, Toto.
No, I mean, like, yeah, that, like, parody Twitter account is so funny. Did Toto talk about Max Verstappen today? That's so funny. Toto came out again and said his top is Kimi, and then if something happens and Max wants to leave Red Bull, Max, and then...
God, imagine they get rid of Checo and Max leaves, and it's just like a fresh Red Bull team. It's Liam and Isaac. They still don't give Yuki a spot.
That would be, like, insane.
God, Christian Horner would shit himself.
Oh my god, Yuki and Daniel just switched to Red Bull.
Yeah.
They wouldn't know what to do.
He'd be like,
It's like GP and Yuki.
If anyone could, like, they would have to give GP.
They would have to give GP to Yuki.
That's so funny.
Which I'm sure, I feel like GP and Max have to be tied some way.
Yeah.
I feel like if Max leaves, GP has got to go with him.
Yeah.
Or, like, wait, Max and Bono.
Oh my god. Bono's like, please, Toto, I can't do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to. Going from, like, Lewis, who is, like, the most, like, calm, level-headed person ever. Like, he's like... And then to Max, where Max like, this fucking strategy! And Bono's like...
I do remember, it was, like, a while, like back when all the Red Bull rumors had started, and it was like, oh my god, Max is going to Mercedes. Somebody this was like a few months ago, somebody tweeted him, was like, Bono says, it's hammer time, Max, and he activates, like, the Winter Soldier.
That's so funny.
I, like, laughed. That was hilarious. Yeah, winter break's gonna be crazy. I could see Logan leaving. I feel like he might stay. I don't know. Maybe that's just me still thinking that Kimi should stay and finish a full F2 season. But I don't know.
I hope so. I hope they give him a chance, and I hope that, even though I don't think he could go and have, like, some amazing races, and I don't think he would save his seat for next year, but imagine how satisfying that would feel, like, to come back and they're like, oh, you know, you don't have a spot anymore, and him just, like, absolutely killing it.
Yeah.
It would just feel, I think, really nice for him.
And we have the opportunity for 2025. I understand that Liam Lawson technically wouldn't be a rookie.
But basically.
We have the opportunity to have 4 rookies.
4 rookies. Well, 5, maybe. Zane Maloney.
We know it's Ollie. Most likely going to be Kimi and Mercedes. We want Jack Doohan in the Alpine. Liam Lawson in the RB. And if for some reason Valtteri Bottas decides to retire and Zane Maloney goes to the Sauber, you guys.
That would actually be insane.
I fear
it would bring really chaotic racing.
Oh my god, I would love it. I would love it. I fear I'm going to be a little bit of a Haas fan next year.
No,
I
love Ollie so much.
And there is something in me that has this little, I know what it is actually, little sweet spot for Esteban. And it's the same thing like with Lance Stroll.
Because people hate him.
They hate them so much.
I dislike Esteban only because there's something about his personality I don't like.
No, I mean, he's not like my favorite driver, but there's just something in there that it's like the absurd amount of hate they get, and it's so just like...
You just feel bad for him. That's probably what started, like... I mean, Logan received so much hate, too. That's probably what started a bit of your love for him as well.
Yeah, for sure. That Logan was so funny. It was just one race, and all of a sudden I was, like, not paying attention to Lando and Oscar. This was last year, and I remember I was, like, just watching Logan, and I was like, why are they doing that to Logan? Why is that happening? What's happening? And I was like, wait a minute, what are Lando and Oscar doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it tugs on my little heartstrings. I've said this many a times, I'm too empathetic for this sport.
It's a hard sport for that.
It is a hard sport for that.
Any other predictions for summer break?
No.
I feel like there'll be some drivers that we see absolutely none of, and then some drivers that we see, like, too much of. Like, Lando, we're gonna see too much of Lando.
Lando is literally
gonna
following
get into
Martin
trouble.
Garrix on tour.
Yeah, I hope we get some more drunk Lando moments, hopefully without any injuries. But then again, it happened. He won Miami.
There was Lando like talked about some places he was going, and then somebody was like, "I'm going to like a couple Martin Garrix shows," and then I think he's just following Martin Garrix on tour,
which like is so Lando. Like he's like, I travel the world and I have to do stuff every weekend, and on my break, I'm gonna follow my best friend DJ around the world.
No, how is he not tired? Zoe from Fan Behavior talked about that over winter break.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, I wish I was 24 and still had all this energy. And I was
No,
like, that's
literally.
so true.
Him having winter break and him, like, going cave jumping
and then
Vietnam and then going to Australia and riding four-wheelers.
He was like, I hated my time at, I forget where it was, so I just went to Australia to visit
Vietnam,
Daniel.
I think.
I think, yeah. And he was like, so I left and just went to Australia.
So casual.
And meanwhile, like, we go to, like, one race weekend, and I come back
Exhausted.
and I'm dead for, like, 4 days.
Absolutely exhausted.
I don't get how they do it.
Checo even, like, commented and was like, you won't see me. Like, I'm just going away.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to see me.
Good for him.
Mm-hmm. Max is going to meet his new niece.
Aw, it's so cute.
Yeah. And, I'm sure we won't see Oscar. We might see, like, one photo dump from Oscar.
Yeah, we'll get one
for the whole summer break. And it'll be him awkwardly posed next to, like, Lily.
Yeah. Or we'll get, like, a random picture of him biking around Monaco or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll
probably see some good content from Charles.
Yeah, I'm sure Charles and Pierre are going to do something. We have seen these on our For You page a lot of EDM concerts where one of them was freaking Steve Aoki playing. It wasn't actually do Max Verstappen, but it was like that beat, because that like beat backing it is in a lot of songs. Mm-hmm. That is my new life goal. We love like house music and EDM music. Mm-hmm. I need to be at a festival and that happen, and I'm screaming.
Yeah, I need to see. Yeah, they just did it at Tomorrowland. Yeah, and there's a video of a guy wearing like a Max Verstappen like sweatshirt, and they were all lifting him up there. I'm like, God,
I need that to be.
I need to be there. How do I get there?
Literally, how do I be singing 33 Max Verstappen on someone's shoulders?
Yep,
in a crowd.
Yep, I need that. But I mean, I'm excited. So winter break, it'll be a little tough because we won't have like races to recap.
We have a few episodes planned.
We have some exciting content coming.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm really excited for some of it. Need to put our thinking caps on.
Yeah, we've talked about how we're going to do a One Direction to Motorsport Pipeline video.
Mm-hmm. Really break that down.
Yeah, for sure, break that down. At the beginning of the season, we did some like predictions and like our favorite drivers, our favorite teams, this and that. We're going to go back and review that and see how it's changed. I'm going to giggle at the fact that I said Ferrari is one of my favorite teams. Yeah, the winter break got me with the videos and I still love Charles and Carlos, but and I'm sure we're gonna get some news, so we'll do some updates.
Mm-hmm. We talked about doing a Taylor Swift lyric video for all the F1 drivers, which I've got a lot of thoughts about. Logan fans, I'm gonna make you cry even more.
Yeah, for sure.
This is me trying by Taylor Swift.
Stop. So that was our recap for the Belgian Grand Prix, and we are headed into summer break. I'm going to try and pick up a hobby.
Good luck.
Actually, I'm going to read all of the books that I can, because I always forget to read when motorsport is on, and I need to get my reading goal this year.
By the time the next F1 race happens, I'll be 27. Crazy.
Thanks for listening.
Thank
we will see you next week with a fun episode. Stay tuned.
Bye.